Alright guys, welcome to Star Stories. That's where we take your stories from around the verse and read them out for our general entertainment. Org and player names may be changed around to keep things drama free and anonymous where necessary. If you would like to send me a story, you can find links to social media in the description and an email address. Or you can just write it in the comments. It can be any length, it can be about anything you like. As long as it's got something to do with Star Citizen, it can be interesting, funny, something that blew you away, maybe an unfortunate series of events about that one time that you got Star Citizened. Please do me a favour and spread this around, share it with your org mates and your discords so that we can keep getting more and more stories to share. It's a big game, a lot of things happen, and a lot of the time those events never see the light of day. Let's try and capture that and give it its own place in the community. With all that out of the way, let's get on with the show. In the lawless reaches of the Pyro system, there exists a place where hope goes to die. Ships explode for mysterious reasons, and grown adults whisper angry prayers to the void. That place is the contested zone known as Checkmate. A man named Jay Beecham had made a terrible life decision. Haven't we all, my friend? And you can be today's sacrifice. The quest for the red keycard. Jay Beecham's mission was simple. Bro, no. If you're starting your story with, my mission was simple in Star Citizen, well, that's your first mistake. Like, it's already over, basically. I think it's got something to do with making plans. If you try and make a plan, that's when Star Citizen gets you. 1. Obtain 2 blue keycards. 2. Fly across the lawless nightmare of Pyro. 3. Locate a red security keycard at a remote asteroid security base. 4. Survive the return trip. 5. Enter the red security door at Checkmate. 6. Print the sacred numbered datapads. Except, this was Star Citizen, where nothing is simple and physics occasionally files for unemployment. After hours of attempts, Jay Beecham finally obtained the elusive red security keycard. Victory was in sight. He boarded his ship, he lifted off, he began his triumphant return, and then crash. His ship slammed into an invisible obstacle, a mysterious ancient entity known to Star Citizen's veterans as some bullshit. Yep. The ship disintegrated. Jay Beecham stared at the screen. The void stared back. Of course, the ancient enemy. The ancient enemy of citizens, young and old. The ambush. After recovering from the emotional trauma of spontaneous invisible collision syndrome, Jay Beecham returned to Checkmate with a new plan. Crime. Respect. When it all goes wrong for you, they've got to pay it forward. That's how a lot of people's problems are solved in Star Citizen. We don't judge here. We don't judge at all. Actually, there's probably quite a lot of people judging you right now in the comments. Specifically, door camping. He tucked himself into a sneaky little ambush spot beside the red security door and waited, and waited, and waited. 45 minutes later. My brother in Christ, that is not gameplay, that is meditation. But you get points for dedication. 45 minutes later, a squad of 6 heavily armed players sprinted past him towards the door. Jay Beecham did some quick tactical math. 6 players versus 1 Beecham equals absolutely not, so he stayed hidden, like a very patient space goblin. See, you messed up there, dude. There was 6 of them. You could have just blended in with the crowd and waited for the right opportunity. The solo traveller. Another 15 to 20 minutes passed. Then, footsteps. A solo player appeared. The man moved suspiciously. Suspiciously enough that Jay Beecham had the uncomfortable feeling the guy knew about the ambush spot. The player rounded the corner and instantly opened fire, but fate intervened, or rather, STAR-ZYWM intervened. Mid-fight, the enemy's rifle simply disappeared. Gone. Vanished. Yeeted into the quantum realm. The enemy player stared at his empty hands for half a second before switching to the universal backup weapon, Panic Knife. He charged Beecham, but Jay Beecham's trusty pulverizer spoke first. The solo player fell. Silence returned. Jay Beecham cautiously looted the body, and his eyes widened. Attached to the leg armour, blue keycard, red security keycard. Jay Beecham whispered the holiest phrase in gaming. Oh hell yes. The red door. Yeah, I think Chris Roberts personally intervened on your behalf there, dude. A lot of us in my Discord are convinced that most of the employees at CIG just sit watching random players in the game, seeing how they could fuck them up at the most opportune moment, like some kind of sick Truman Show game. Oh, what's that? You're about to hand in an hour and a half's worth of work? We give you the blessing of C2 doing the Macarena through the hangar floor. You're welcome. The red door. Moments later, Jay Beecham slipped through the red security door. Inside was a scene straight out of a space horror movie. NPC bodies were everywhere. Someone had clearly been busy. Jay Beecham moved slowly, headphones cranked to ear-destroying volume, checking corners like a paranoid raccoon. Both numbered keycard printers were in cooldown, so he looted, and then he found it. Lying among the spoils of Checkmate, the legendary rifle. The infamous kill shot. Jay Beecham stared at it, then at his trusty pulverizer. A quiet internal debate began. The pulverizer whispers, "We've been through everything together." The kill shot says, "I delete people." Jay Beecham sighed. He equipped a kill shot and slapped on a freshly looted tweaker scope. The first test. Moments later, fate delivered a test. One of the players from that earlier 6-man squad had apparently stayed behind to farm another card. The player appeared down the hallway. Jay Beecham raised the kill shot. Boom! The hallway echoed. The player dropped. Jay Beecham blinked. Well damn, jackpot. Minutes later the cooldown ended. Jay Beecham printed both numbered keycards. This was it. The entire mission had finally worked. Now he just needed to leave, which, in STAR-ZYWM, is historically the most dangerous part. As he turned a corner to exit, he froze. Standing directly in front of him was the same player he had ambushed earlier. The one he looted the keycards from. Apparently, revenge had been scheduled. Both players panicked. Shots rang out. Health bars plummeted. But once again, the kill shot delivered judgment. The enemy dropped. Jay Beecham immediately jabbed himself with a med pen, breathing like a man who had just survived a bar fight in zero gravity. Now bleeding but victorious, Jay Beecham began moving toward the exit. But then, he remembered the body. Maybe this guy had something good. Maybe something really good. Maybe... Greed activated. Oh, dude. Don't do it, dude. It's crazy because even us here, the audience, and me, the whole universe in fact, automatically knows that this is the decision where this all goes tits up. Like, instinctively, we all know. But we also all know that we would have probably checked that body as well. There's no getting around it. Jay Beecham returned and began looting. Scrolling, checking pockets. Nothing, still nothing. And then he heard the most cursed voice line in gaming. "They got your cousin." Jay Beecham slowly turned. Behind him, a spawn closet door burst open. 5 NPCs poured out like angry space clowns. Jay Beecham tried to aim, tried to scope in, tried to exist. But it was already over. The screen went black. Downed. Fuck, dude. Not like this. That's some bullshit. With no revive option, Jay Beecham did the only thing left. Backspace. Respawn. Except the loading screen froze. The medical clinic never appeared. The universe stopped moving. Jay Beecham stared. And then he did what every Star Citizen player eventually must. Alt F4. The sacred keybind. Moments later he woke up back at his home location. Obituary. Mission failed. Loot lost. Hours gone. The aftermath. For 5 minutes Jay Beecham sat motionless. Face in hands. Behind him 3 small voices began asking questions. Daddy, what happened? Daddy, are you okay? Daddy, Dad, Papa. Jay Beecham slowly looked up. A man who had seen things. He sighed, then said, Hey, you guys want to play Super Smash Bros? Could you imagine trying to explain that to kids? Why does Dad look like he's having a terrible day when he's playing his favourite game? It doesn't make sense. Listen kids, gather round. Have you ever heard the term, play stupid games, win stupid prizes? And the worst thing about it is he's about to go and get his ass handed to him on Super Smash Bros as well. Epilogue. Despite everything. The crashes, the invisible walls, the Spawn closet betrayal, the double fucked loading screen, the Chris Roberts gods showed mercy. Because somehow, some way, Jay Beecham kept the killshot rifle. And honestly, that's what truly matters. Because in Star Citizen, sometimes the real treasure isn't the loot, it's the absolutely ridiculous story you get afterwards. Well done, brother. That was a story. Well told. Very well told. That was like a whole episode. I think that whole night that you've wasted there, arguably, will resonate with quite a few people. Me, definitely. We got a nice gun out of it, and a nice story. You've definitely found yourself on the brink of fight or flight. Had a few adrenaline dumps. It's all profit in the bank, dude. Thanks a million for sending this in. Okay, let's do another one. This took place years ago. Maybe around 3.15 or 3.16. But it's such a core memory, I'll never forget it. Okay, so right off the bat, we're going back to the ancient times. Back to when the game was somehow more broken. Back when Port Olisar was still a thing, in fact. I mean, we're going back a few. I might even have some of the saved videos around here somewhere. Anyway, I logged on to find some of my org mates on Daymar, loading vehicles into a carrack. They were teaching a new guy how it was done. I joined them and had the new guy back my Ursa into the bottom hangar. I'm seeing a bit of a familiar setup here. New guy must be some kind of catalyst, I'm guessing. Carrack getting things loaded into it, already a bad idea, especially in 3.15, 3.16. Then, for shits and giggles, we loaded a tonk into the upper hangar bay to see if it would work. And it did, though the hangar door kept closing when we quantumed. I mean, of course, the next logical step is let's put a tank on it. Anyways, we mucked around a bit, took on some PvE bounties with the tank, and eventually found ourselves just outside the armistice zone of Port Olisar. Yay, Port Olisar mentioned. Yes, that long ago. While we were there, an Avenger Titan came by to investigate us. He was just circling us, but my org mate in the tank told us to open the hangar. Right, so if you're not aware, I don't know if this is a player, it might have been the security that used to show up and scan your ship for, illegal goods and stuff like that. But it could be a player as well. We did, and the Titan flew around to see what was inside. I only heard my org mate say, I'm going to do it. And me say, huh? Do what? Boom. One shot, one kill on that poor Titan. And, of course, an instant crime stat 3 on our org mate in the tank. I mean, it had to be done, right? Why is that guy being so nosy anyway? We can't all just be expected to have perfect trigger discipline at all times when there's shit flying around like Duck Hunt and we're bored. Like, what do you want us to do? At that point, I think Port Olisar started shooting missiles at us, so we decided to leave. But as we flew around, we of course started to get intercepted by bounty hunters. We quickly manned the turrets and started shooing off the Gladii and Hornets and Vanguards. My org mate in the tank actually got a couple more kills because the last thing these guys were expecting was a tank in the hangar. But of course, that means we also got a crime stat 5. Wait. Let's rewind a little bit. Because I'm starting to think this was all your fault. If you know there's a guy in your hangar in a tank and he says, open the hangar, and you open the hangar, this is all on you. That guy's basically an AI blade at that point that you have given the green light. So anything that follows, we're all blaming you. The ship was getting badly damaged, but we were doing fairly well. We decided we needed to clean our friend of his crime stat 5, so we made our way to Korea, with bounty hunters on our tail. When we got to the station, we were dismayed to see that there was a constellation nearby that turned towards us as we approached. By this point, the ship was in a bad state. The hull was red, we lost one of the turrets, the emergency lights were on, and you saw smoke in the hallways. I mean, Korea was a brave choice, dude. It sounds like it was a ride or die scenario, and for the sake of this show, I'm glad you chose that path. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the way this is setting up, it's like that constellation should have had a freaking boss bar. We had our org mate and the new guy go up to the doors to the roof, and we tanked the constellation and Korea until we got close, and they jumped off the ship so we could pull away from Korea. Oh yeah, I forgot about the new guy, by the way. Like, he's bound to be having the time of his life right now. So it was just myself and the pilot and the bounty hunter's constellation. I'm not sure why. I think because the constellation was now attacking an innocent ship, Korea started shooting at them as well. Our hull was so red the pilot told me to abandon ship. So I ran through the smoke-filled corridors down to the bottom hangar and said fuck it. I opened the ramp and drove the Ursa out the front in 0G. I would now be safe from the carrack explosion, but I saw the constellation was pretty damaged. So I jumped into the other seat, pulled out the turret, and laid everything I had into the constellation alongside Korea. Oh man, this is some action-adventure shit right here. A few seconds later, the constellation actually blew up, and our carrack was still alive, barely. Okay, so you took a tank to a spaceship fight in 1, and then you took a car to a spaceship fight in 1. I mean, it doesn't really matter how this story ends. You've already won Star Citizen, in my opinion. We heard from the guys inside that our org mate had cleared the CS5, so they were making their way out to EVA to get back to us. The pilot deftly manoeuvred the ship and actually scooped me and the Ursa back up into the bottom hangar, and our other crewmates came back aboard. We were in full disbelief that the carrack could still fly, and we actually survived that. So we took it down to Selin and got it repaired. As we left Selin, the tank was rattling around a lot in the hangar, so my org mate got back in the tank to centre it properly. As we jumped to OM1, we ran into a crude 890 jump that came over to investigate. Guys, I'm gonna do it. The end. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That ended up being nothing about the new player at all. I totally read that one wrong. Imagine that was your first time being in the verse. You'd be sitting there like, what? You guys have adventures like this every night? How have I been missing this? Next 3 weeks spent not being able to fucking plot a course on the map. But yeah, it is those glittering, shining moments that stick with us and have us tolerate a lot of the roughness around the edges of this game. Great story, dude. Fantastic story. And a happy ending as well. Thanks a million for this. Another one? Let's do another one. So I had a bit of an adventure last night. I was out doing solo bunker missions when a guy, we'll call him Bob, I'm assuming that's for legal reasons, says in chat, is anyone doing bunker missions? I reply, I am, Bob. Can I tag along? Me, sure. So I send him a party invite and share the mission with him. I'm approaching the bunker in my cutty red, with the flashing lights on of course. There is, after all, a UEE law that states if you're flying a cutty red, you must have the flashing lights on. And since I'm a chaotic good player, I obey the law. I come down on the bunker and go into a fast, tight turn to throw off the bunker turret. It only fires for a short time before recognising that you're there to help, before shutting down. Once the turret has powered down, I land the red right at the front of the bunker door. I shut down the engines and exit the ship. A moment later, I hear the sounds of a ship, so I look up in the sky and see an aurora coming down. It's a little shaky, flying this way and that. I'm thinking, yep, this sky is pretty new. Then I notice out of the corner of my eye, the turret powering up and starting to turn towards the aurora. Me, turret! Bob, huh? Me, land behind the bunker so the turret can't hit you. Quickly! I see the aurora going this way and that, 1 minute upside down, then looking straight down, moving back and forth, then the telltale flash of a shield being hit. Oh no. Seconds later, a small explosion, and the aurora falls the last few meters to the ground. I start running over, but too late. A very large explosion and the aurora is gone. Nothing left except for a couple of landing gear pads. Bob's body falls to the ground and then disappears. Bob. Oops. Me. Not your fault, the turret activated and shot you down. Bob. Hey, I'm in prison. Of course he is. Of course he is. Where else would he be? Me. Yeah, the game thought you were trespassing and sent you to prison when you died. Bob. Wow, this place is really cool looking. I've never been here before. I feel bad because I should have seen this coming. Fortunately, Bob is having fun, and his sentence is only 15 minutes. So I quickly clear this bunker and head back to the space station to wait for Bob to get out of prison. This time we're going to go together in the red. So Bob gets out of prison and we meet at my ship. He's wearing some wicked looking armour. I tell him to put that stuff into local inventory and give him a full set of white good guy security armour. I tell him that when we get down there, if we get separated, I don't want to accidentally shoot you in the heat of battle. Whatever you do, don't shoot the guys in white, only the guys in green and red. He agrees and off we go. We do the same tight, fast turn around the bunker to wait out the turret. It stops firing and we touch down at the foot of the entrance. Me, stay right behind me and watch the corners and doors. That's where they get you. The corners and doors. Bob, okay. Off we go. I lead with Bob right behind, covering our 6. We get into the bunker proper. I pop the first 2 bad guys. We are going low and slow, moving forward. I pop a couple more bad guys when I hear a kerfuffle behind me. Bob, I got one. Me, that's great kid, don't get cocky. Bob, I got that reference. We go deeper into the bunker, killing bad guys as we go. Now there's 1 bad guy left. I turn at one point to check out one of the places where the bad guys tend to get stuck. And that's when it happens. Machine gun fire. Bob's down. I spin around and see the last bad guy come around a corner. I dump half a mag of angry energy into the guy that shot Bob. Bob. He came out of nowhere. Me. Corners and doorways, kid. Corners and doorways. Bob. My vision is fading. Me. Oof. I pull out my med gun and fire a few rounds of sweet green goo into Bob and he pops right up. Bob. Oh, I'm walking funny and my vision is a little wonky. Me. Let's get you up into the med bed on the red. Stat. Off we go. Bob is regaling me with all the weird things going on as we make our way to the ship. We get him into the bed and get him fixed right up. Then he's up and fully healed. Yes. Me. Okay. Now we strip naked. Bob. What? Me. We're gonna loot the hell out of this place. We strip down and run into the bunker and remove the armour from the many corpses in the bunker. Quick hint, if you are naked and take the undersuit from a corpse, it will drag the entire suit of armour onto you, speed things up quite a bit. But there is a problem, you can't use the inventory when you do this. So on our last run of armour looting, we put the armour in the ship, then take it out and put it on again, and now we can put stuff into inventory. We head back down with the new armour and backpacks and continue looting the place. We got tons of rifles and some sweet sniper rifles from the red boxes. We even found a white box and took the Hadanite and Dolovine. It was at this point in the looting when that little voice, way back in the lizard part of my brain, said, "You've been here too long. Bob, I think I hear a ship." Me, "Elevator, go, 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 go." When we get to the elevator, it's at the top and coming down. Uh-oh. This means one thing, player coming down. Now, on any given night, it can be a 50-50 chance that a player will run right past you and continue into the bunker. Or shoot you in the face and loot your still warm body. Me, stay cool. Bob, K. The elevator hits bottom and there's a player, gun at the ready. There's Bob and I, dressed in good guy armour. I figure it will give us a second or two of pause from the player. All three of us just stand there and stare at each other. I hear the theme song of the good, the bad and the ugly in my head. What a tense moment. So I do the universal I'm a good guy move and jump up and down twice. Then emote wave. The player turns and runs past us and into the bunker. Me, tend to get the fuck out. Bob, whew, that was intense. We run for the red, take off and make for the space station. We land, head to the elevator, and as we are waiting I notice in chat, "Hey, guy in ambulance with the flashing lights." Me, "Yeah, that's me, what's up?" I got shot in the head and can use some help." Bob and I look at each other. Bob, "Are we gonna save him?" Me, "Damn right we're gonna save him, let's go." Bob, "Yes, we're gonna be combat medics." Even though I'm only reading his text on the screen, I can hear the excitement in Bob's voice. So we book it for the ship. I sit down in the pilot seat, double check that the flashing lights are on. Yep, take off. Now it's at this point that Bob completely buries himself in the role of combat medic. He's texting in chat, "John, we're on the way. Just hold on. We'll be there soon. We'll save you." John, "Cool, thanks." Bob, "How are you feeling, John?" "Well, my vision is fading." Bob, "Oh, don't worry. We're coming to save you." This went on for some time. Bob trying earnestly to keep John's morale up and let him know we're coming as fast as we can. I was kind of giggling to myself. This was really fun. I was enjoying Bob's enthusiasm. John was starting to get into it as well, describing his symptoms and keeping a running tab going on his condition. And this is the point where I buried myself in the role of combat medic, heading down through the planet's atmosphere thinking, I need a siren. CIG, for the love of all that is holy, please give me a siren on my cutty red. I need a siren. And not just a wee-woo siren. It has to be one of those ones that make different sounds. You know, when an in-real-life ambulance comes to an intersection and the wee-woo changes to the blah blah. Fuck. Fuck you for making me try that, dude. And then back to the wee-woo sound. That's what I want. Imagine this. You've been shot in the head, you stagger around and then fall to the ground on your back. Your blood is leaking into the cold snow, your vision fading, then you hear, faintly, wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo. You force your eyes open and look into the sky and see the pretty red flashing lights of the cutty red, the ambulance with 2 combat medics inside. Wee-oo, wee-oo, closer, wee-oo, wee-oo, closer, wee-oo, wee-oo, blah, blah, wee-oo, wee-oo. They are on a mission, a singular mission. They are screaming down through the atmosphere for one thing, to save you. Ladies and gentlemen, have I painted a picture for you? I don't know, man. My sound effects might have not been up to scratch on that one. I think saying wee-oo kind of takes the edge off it for some reason. Also, there better not be any more sound effects in this, I swear to fucking God. I hope so, because this is what the cutty red is all about. Now, again, it was at this time that I heard a horrible sound. A very bad sound. Bob, what's that sound? Me, radar lock. Hold tight, we're going evasive. Bob, I really hate that turret. I put the cutty red into full evasive manoeuvres. Corkscrewing down at full speed, angry red bolts of energy whizzing past the cockpit, a couple hitting the shields. Me, Bob, get ready, this is going to be a combat hot drop. The second we touch down, jump and go and save John. Bob, yes sir. I'm coming down fast. At the last second I flare the ship and all 3 pads of the landing gear touch down as one. The gear flexes mightily but withstands the hit. I had to throw the Drake fanboys a bone here. Me, go go go. Bob launches himself from the ship and doesn't say a word. He doesn't have time. He doesn't need to. I can hear the voice in Bob's head as clear as if it's my own. Go, go, go. Got to save John. I'm coming, John. Don't worry. I quickly lift off and nimbly send the ship around to the back of the bunker where the turret can't hit. I look over and see Bob shooting John with that sweet, sweet green goo. Then John pops up. Bob, I saved him. Me, great kid. Don't get cocky. John, oh, I don't feel so good. Am I walking funny? I can't tell. Me, Bob, get him back to the ship and into the med bed. Star. Bob, yes sir. As the 2 of them walk up the ramp. Bob, hey, there's red lights inside of the ship now too. John, shit, she's gonna blow. Turns out the turret was glitching through the bunker walls and hitting the ship. Fortunately, only one of the guns was actually hitting the ship and she was still hanging in there. Me, you 2 bail out, we'll meet out of range. The second Bob and John's boots hit the ground, I lifted off. No time to close all the doors and retract landing gear. I slammed the throttle all the way forward, hit full afterburner, and the red took off like a scalded cat. I put in some roll and pulled pitch, what the old fighter pilots called crank and bank. The red let for the sky, banking so fast the turret couldn't turn fast enough to hit us with a single shot. Seconds later, we were 2,500 metres away and out of firing range. I spotted a nice landing spot and brought her down nice and gentle. I exited the pilot's seat and went aft. Standing on the back ramp, I see John and Bob come flying in on John's ship. The landing was a little shaky, but I can forgive that little lapse since John still had a bullet in his head. They bail out and come running to the red. Well, Bob was running. John was staggering around like a drunken sailor, mumbling to himself. We get him into the med bed and I access the panel at the foot of the bed. Turns out you can do all kinds of operations on there. I take the bullet out of John's head, clean all the drugs out of his bloodstream, and top up his food and water. John gets out of the med bed and stands up. The 3 of us stand there a moment, quietly staring at each other. Then, Bob. Yes! We saved John! That was awesome! The end. And there you have it. Another small but meaningful victory in the verse, involving another new player as well. And I feel it's these little stories, these little occurrences, that really help hook people in. A lot of people probably play this game and just bounce off because of the bugs or whatever. But as soon as you get 1 or 2 of these types of experiences under your belt, you start to see what's truly possible here. And you just become hooked. Excellent story, dude. I do love a good combat medic story. This ticked all the boxes. I think we've got time for maybe one more. Hello. As about a 5-month-old newer player, I love to do 2 things in SC a lot. Player bounty hunting and medical beacons. The duality of man. Hurting people and healing people. It's probably the same guy. I get paid to shoot your knees out and then I get paid by you to patch me back up again. Dude, you have the market cornered with this one. I like your business acumen here. Although I got to do quite many of sneak into a hangar behind a target, board and self-destruct a ship, hole up at a site and railgun / boom tube people etc. There is one story that stuck with me the most. I picked up a bounty contract, target was on Daymar. By the time I got to them, their Corsair was pinned to the ground by a Firebird and a Hornet. Got to love engineering. Ships do not blow up as fast if you do not know where to shoot. As I was parking my Razor near them, the Firebird wanted to give that Corsair a nudge or something, and in the process they crashed into the ground with a big boom. With my trusted boom tube, I blew up the Corsair, but it seemed like this action upset the Hornet pilot, as they decided to blow up my Razor. I liked my Razor a lot, and I had plenty of boom tube rockets to spare. There goes the Hornet. Here I am in the middle of nowhere on Daymar, in the middle of the night with no ship. There were lights on the horizon, so I made my way there, and after a very long run, it was a private property bunker with only single seaters around it. Trespassing and nothing to even fly away on. but it gave me a possibility to get oxygen and a drink. Then I made my way to another light on the horizon. It was an empty derelict outpost with no ships around it. After some consideration, I had asked for a lift and global chat, and a taxi with a very kind soul came to pick me up. They were a bit cautious if I was a pirate, started moving as soon as I was on board to make me take a seat faster, got me to STAR-ZYWM station but parked on the outside platform. Huge thanks to them, fantastic guy. As I was waiting for an insurance claim on my Razor, a medical beacon popped up. A guy at one of the pav sites. Looks like a trap. Let's go. When I arrived, there was a few ships fighting over the pav site, and my patient was on the ground floor of the central building. I sneaked past the fighting people, parked in front of the building and started clearing ninetails, making my way to the patient. While I was looking for a safer corner to place them before reviving them, in case they're AFK, the fight above us was over and silence descended. Revived and patched up, they joined me, and as we were moving to exit the building, my Razor blew up right in front of us. Then, my patient's ship. Then other ships on that pav site started to go boom one after the other. It looked like those who left after the fight were cleaning the place up. Through the scope, I was able to see what looked like lights of a ship, parked at the foot of a mountain near the pav. Hugging the walls and every nook and cranny, we sneaked out of the pav site without being noticed. The ship was a cutter, but badly damaged. SRT attachment and a couple of canisters did the job. Love engineering. And we were on our way to STAR-ZYWM to reclaim our ships. My now friend didn't lose a couple of attachments and a gilded overlord core he looted that day, and I got quite an incredible and wholesome chain of events. Fuck aye. This is what it's all about. That's a good night right there. Apart from, those probably quite lengthy jogs that you had to take on that planet. Things in the distance are always further away than they appear. Great little story, dude, and I really like your playstyle. Seems pretty dedicated to engaging with other people, and it's bound to throw up all kinds of shenanigans for you quite often, I would imagine. Appreciate you sharing this, dude, and I think that's enough for today. It is going to take me a couple of days to edit all this. I do have another couple of stories here from people, so if you've not heard your story, I do apologise. It will, in all likelihood, be in the next episode. Thank you all for watching. Remember and share this. Remember and send me your stories. Hopefully I'll see you again sometime. 07 guys.